Hey guys, Level Cap here and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. Confidence in PUBG Corp is at an all-time high. PGI was a very successful first step for PUBG esports. And Update 19 launched on the PUBG test servers this week. It brought a huge overhaul to the bullet penetration system, among many other big quality of life improvements. First, let's dive into the new penetration system. Bullets that strike a target's arm or hands will now account for what's behind them. So if you shoot someone in the hand and the bullet's path also goes through, say, their head, it will do full headshot damage. If the bullet's path misses the face, however, it'll only do arm damage or hand damage to them. Considering how close the arms and hands are to the head of the player models in PUBG when shooting, this change could make gunfights a bit more clean or a bit more representational of a player's accuracy. The change isn't universal though. Arm and hand penetration is disabled for shotguns and is not applied to legs at all. As for the quality of life improvements, there are many standouts worth mentioning. SANOC's exclusive assault rifle, the QBZ, now takes up less of the screen in first person. Getting onto motorcycles as the driver should be a lot easier. Exiting a vehicle no longer cancels sprinting. Equipping and removing attachments with a full inventory has been improved so items automatically drop to the floor instead of preventing you from switching them out when removed. Holding Alt and right-clicking on a weapon also removes all of its attachments. Finally, and this one has been very controversial, players can ping a location by holding Alt and right-clicking. This ping system works like the one in Rainbow Six Siege, placing a marker wherever you point. It also seems pretty easy to abuse. It can currently be rebound to the same key as fire, which means you could put a marker down exactly where you shoot with every single shot. It's also fully visible through walls and objects. For squads and duos, this can be used almost like wall hacks. One player can spot an enemy with a ping, and the other can line up a shot and shoot the second they come around a corner. It's nice having a ping feature in some games because communication and positioning can be difficult to communicate basically over VoIP, but the current implementation in PUBG leaves a lot to be desired and is, again, very easy to abuse. As for the dynamic weather system that was introduced with SANOC, it's now available on all maps. Performance for the game was also addressed, but to what extent will require further testing by the community. Of the recent patches for PUBG, this one stands out as making real headway towards a more polished game. CSGO's latest update was also a pretty massive quality of life improvement. The PANORAMA UI update is officially live. The game's entire UI has been rebuilt from the ground up for a more modern look and better functionality. Beta versions of the update were made available when it was announced. Valve also changed the bomb sound when planting on the B site. This has been a big issue on Nuke in particular, as the bomb sites are stacked right on top of each other. It sounds like a minor change on the surface, but these small tweaks often have big consequences in the world of CSGO. Finally, the update introduced the new Horizon community case with 17 weapon skins and 4 new knife models. What is likely Battlefield 1's final big patch has been released. Xbox One X players can finally run the game in 4K, taking full advantage of the upgraded console's more capable hardware. The M1903 Experimental now offers an alternate bolt-action fire mode, giving you the option to finally use this bolt-action rifle with iron sights. Friendly flares now show up and overlap on the mini-map for teammates to see, so you can have much better intel communication. Balance changes were also made to the shock operation modes on Lupkel Pass and Zeebrugge. Players can find the initial sector for both maps a little more balanced. If you want a full breakdown of the patch, be sure to watch my video on it. It's exciting that Battlefield 5 is just around the corner, but at the same time, Battlefield 1 has certainly carved a place for itself in the franchise, and it'll be interesting to see how it ages considering it's not likely to change much in the future. Also, be sure to download this week's free DLC for Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. Apocalypse for Battlefield 1 and both Naval Strike and China Rising are free until the 7th. That's pretty much exactly when the Road to Battlefield 5 promotion ends. DAYZ also said the beta would launch in early September, and classically, betas or alphas have launched on a Tuesday, which is also on the 4th. Pre-ordering the game or signing up for Origin Premier will get you early access to the beta, which means if it does launch on the 4th, it might not be for everyone, just the people with those pre-orders or Premier. Speaking of which, EA also launched Origin Access Premier this week for PC users. It's either $15 a month or $99.99 a year, and it gets subscribers unlimited access to all Origin Access titles. This includes Battlefield 4 Premium Edition, Titanfall 2, the Mass Effect franchise, and upcoming games like Anthem and Battlefield 5. Its value has been hotly debated, but there's no denying that $100 a year is a small price to pay for access to all of these big titles and anything new coming down the road. Speaking of big titles, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Beta is now available to pre-order customers on the PlayStation 4. It includes 6 maps, 16 weapons, and 10 of the game's specialist 4 game modes, and will be followed by more betas with slightly different content down the line. Fans of the franchise will obviously feel right at home, but Treyarch have cleverly made an effort to polish the general gameplay from Black Ops 3. The return to boots-on-the-ground combat and an increased depth of content to try out has left most people with a positive first impression. As for the game's Battle Royale mode, a bit of footage was revealed in the beta trailer, and we do know it will employ something of a bullet physics system, but not much else has been announced. The physics system will be used in standard multiplayer to help balance some weapons like SMGs that have been hard to balance in previous COD games. Insurgency SANDSTORM's pre-order beta kicks off on the 9th. The launch date was revealed alongside some new beta gameplay showing off the game's updated animations and map design. I'm really excited for the beta and can't wait to see what they've improved since I played the alpha at E3. I did a video covering my impressions of the new footage and expectations for the beta, so be sure to check that out. Fortnite's guided missile launcher is finally back. The weapon was removed several updates ago to fix some of its more egregious balance issues. Generally speaking, it's a lot less deadly, but should still be effective against fortified enemies. Logitech have acquired Blue Microphones, the company behind arguably the most popular USB mic on the market, the Yeti. Logitech is deeply ingrained in the gaming market, and it also produces things like webcams that are used universally. Using technology from Blue Microphones could really help them improve the audio quality in their other products. Logitech are saying Blue have some new products in the works, but nothing specific has been announced. I'm kind of excited by this acquisition. NVIDIA are planning a major GeForce event for August 20th, which is one day before Gamescom kicks off. Rumors have been circulating for weeks now that NVIDIA next generation GPU will be announced at or around Gamescom, and the news seems to back that up. A couple of supposed leaks related to new GPUs also surfaced this week. The images allegedly represent the new 2000 series GPUs. There's also an image of a new printed circuit board, but people are speculating that it's actually one of the new Quadro line graphics cards and not one of the more consumer grade or gaming GPUs. Destiny 2 is getting a Game of the Year style edition similar to Destiny 1. Called the Legendary Collection, it'll include the base game, its 2 existing expansions, and the upcoming Forsaken expansion. The Legendary Collection will cost $60. Forsaken alone is priced at $40. Bungie has also announced a $35 annual pass for the game that will include 3 DLCs coming after Forsaken that will not be included in the Legendary Collection. The annual pass doesn't include Forsaken. Does this sound confusing? Well, it is pretty confusing, but basically what Bungie is saying is that you're still going to have to keep paying for future Destiny 2 DLC regardless of how you originally got the game or what major game package you purchased. In our final story this week, DAYZ is still on track for its console debut later this summer. It's currently in testing with a select group of Xbox insiders. While issues are clearly present in the early build, the next phase of closed testing is just around the corner. It will again be limited to a small group of Xbox One owners, but after that it should be live for anyone willing to buy it. It's likely the developers will announce the launch date and more information at Gamescom. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. Pay attention to the gaming news, especially this week and next week, as betas and new things are being announced all the time, as developers are trying to get out ahead of Gamescom before everything gets swallowed up in the media frenzy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.